Hello, 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 and welcome to this final boss fight, Council of Tamrinor stream. My name is John, and I am joined by Geoff.
Hello.
And we've been left alone in the council chambers for the moment.
Party. Quick,
Ben,
do all the things.
Ben is apparently on his way, but he's running a little bit late tonight, and Sean has decided to start coughing up his internal organs, which doesn't seem a good idea, and we would suggest you don't do that. You weren't here last time, Geoff, so I think one of the first sort of order of business for the council tonight is to catch you up on what we discussed last time, which was we went over several of the characters that we had named for the calendar and gave them some level of story. We used a combination of the Ultimate RPG Character Backstory Guide and a set of cards I've bought called the Deck of Stories to generate some sort of nuggets of story, and those, with the way that we think, sort of started tangling together into a web of backstory events that fed into the world and gave us some more details about the world. Because you weren't there, I would like you to generate some story for some characters using both the book and the cards. What we might need to look at doing is adding another couple of characters into the world for you to do that to. But let's start off with Emberwolf, because he's up on the screen right now. So Emberwolf is an ancient avian hero for whom the Emberwolf archives are named, and the 7th day of the week is also named after Emberwolf. We suggested early in the session that the earliest records about Emberwolf's life are unclear because he hadn't established the archives yet. And obviously the archivists of the archives are the most reliable source of information about any of these characters. So if the archives aren't there yet, we've sort of got hearsay and rumor and uncorroborated details about this person's life before he set up the archives.
So one question immediately suggests itself to me.
Yes.
He's an avian. Why is he called Emberwolf?
That's a fabulous question. I don't know.
I think that should be like one of the mysteries around him.
That probably is going to be one of the mysteries around him. I feel that's a mystery that we need to, at some point, come up with a definitive answer for. I feel there are some of the mysteries that are mysteries that we can have continue to be mysteries and come out during gameplay, and I feel that's not one of them.
Well, it's something to think about because he's an avian. Avians don't bird-like creatures don't tend to be wolves. So why is he called Emberwolf? What did he do? What did he become to get that name?
Well, let's start off with telling you the origins of the Vorthir, which is the story that we generated around Emberwolf. At one point, while visiting the court, Emberwolf receives a vision of the god from their god. I believe we've established that Emberwolf is Emberwolf worships Bethin, the folio of the eras, the god of knowledge. They receive a vision from their god. They will kill the king. Emberwolf will kill the king, King Casimir IV. The vision reveals that Emberwolf will take an active role in killing the king. And so Emberwolf chooses to exile himself to avoid this fate. Whilst in exile, he encounters a glowing orb called Vorthir that reportedly returns people to life, but the life they remember is not the one they left behind. With great pain, they can gain fractions of their past life, but it is not the same story as that which they lived. A noble by the name of Lord Garrett of the Hitherland requests a meeting with Emberwolf, but as he enters Lord Garrett's estate, Garrett casts a spell on Emberwolf, causing him to pass out, rendering him a prisoner of Lord Garrett. King Casimir IV has done this to stop his self-imposed exile and to return Emberwolf to the court because of the value of the knowledge that Emberwolf carries with him. And has been attempting other less, as I put it, other less kidnappy methods of returning Emberwolf. But Emberwolf outsmarted each of these attempts. So as you can see, we've got a fun artifact there. We've got a potential character in the Lord Garrett. We've got a location in the Hitherland.
We've got another person incoming.
We've got another person incoming, apparently. And we've also got this plot to kill the king, which Emberwolf has a role in.
Remind me, this is all past history, though, isn't it?
This is King Casimir was a few hundred years prior to the events of the present day, so we aren't looking at recent things. Obviously, things like the Vorthir, things like the Hitherland might still be around. The Hitherland being a location, Vorthir being an artifact.
One bit I don't quite get in that. How is he a prisoner and still outsmarting the attempts to bring him back?
He had outsmarted the other attempts to bring him back. So there had been a number of other attempts to return him to the court, which he had outsmarted, but this one, because it was the close proximity of Lord Garrett, he did not outsmart. Ben says, it's good to... I haven't the energy today. Which is mood for the stream. As Ben has resubbed for 35 months in a row.
And yay.
And hopefully will join shortly.
Oh, they all... all the, like, the names like links to other parts.
Yes. So, quickly going back to Krim. Krim is a hero who tried tried to cheer people up during the coldest season by suggesting they spend time with their family, eating heartily, and celebrating that you have survived through the coldest time of the year. Crimma is celebrated in the 12th month, Droth's Claim. And we also have now added to this hero's story, the story of the Shining Star. A fallen hero's ghost gives Crim one task. He must return the hero's lost sword, the Shining Star, a rapier that appears to be twisted diamonds, to his home. Zeke Stone has kept the blade as a trophy, locked away, but it has gone missing from the locked room when Crim breaks in to retrieve it. Another thief, a goblin, has broken into Zeke's vault and stolen the sword. Crim follows the tracks, retrieves the sword, but as Crim leaves the goblin caves, he finds himself in a fire-blasted landscape. Another victim of the thieving goblin has burnt the surroundings of the goblin's lair. And so that is the story of how Crim retrieved the Shining Star sword. And we're just gonna
pause there for a moment.
If you're listening to the audio version of this, we are gonna pause here for a moment. I mean, I don't know why I'm saying things.
Editing.
If you're watching live, you get to see this bit and other people don't. You get to see secrets lore, yes. These bits will not be in the released audio version of this because I literally don't have the audio for it. We should be able to hear Ben now, though. So that's the story of the Shining Star. Any thoughts or comments on that one? It's not a long story.
Are these all done just like drawing randomly from your books and cards?
Those two were drawing more or less randomly from the cards and stringing them together to make at least a brief story, yes. What are you thinking?
Oh, I'm thinking that we can't hear Ben.
I'm agreeing with that.
It kind of feels like we need to be able to do more to these to fill them out a bit.
Well, obviously, these are just the very basic starter story points. There is obviously a lot of opportunity to fill in more details in them and to go into depth in it. This is just to get some ideas down, something down. I'm wondering if it's not letting us hear you because it's still uploading our previous recording. Oh, this podcast... Oh, is it finished uploading? Ben, can we hear you now? Say something. Please, Ben, speak with us. Alright, screw it. We're not getting the audio version of this episode out. We're going to go to Discord.
Woo.
We're going to head over to the streaming channel in Discord. See you in there.
Okay.
Well, now it's just me, guys. You've just got me.
Hello.
And now we've got Ben! And hopefully that one is Geoff. Yes, Lord, this is like a seance.
It is a bit.
Ben, knock over a thing if you can hear us.
I just start seeing your entire wardrobe behind you just fall over.
Oh, God. So yeah, Geoff, just to cover your concerns, we are obviously, like, these aren't finished stories. These are very much the nuggets of a story to start with. And I'm largely thinking you and Ben are welcome to take these and run with them and stretch them into longer form stories, as is a thing that I know the both of you can do.
Yeah, that pretty much is the reason why you have us hang around.
Meanwhile,
Really?
Law has redeemed a stretch. Oh, Ben, if you want to send us a video ninja...
oh, good point. Yeah, that's an idea.
Guest star was having some problems tonight. Twitch guest star was having problems tonight, so...
To be fair, when it comes down to it, I'm having a feeling up. My character and everything's starting to be a little bit twitchy, and I don't know if it's just for the sake it's a bit windy around here.
Yeah, it could be.
So, I don't know whether things are going to stick around quite the same over here as well, but hopefully not.
So, to continue, Car. The monument to Car is in a mountain pass called Vundes, which has been blocked by an impossibly large boulder. Rumours say that Car's armor, sword, shield, item of some description are buried there to this day. People don't live near it, and it is hard to reach. Average people don't go there, but replicas of the monument have been built in places of strength, such as barracks and workout locations. When the armies of the Raptors were on the way through the mountain pass, Car dropped a boulder into the pass and blocked it, crushing some of the army, preventing the bulk of the force from passing through and leaving the other defenders with a manageable fight. It was also noted that greenery appears to be growing and reinforcing the blocked passage, despite a lack of other greenery in the area, suggesting a god's power is assisting in blocking the mountain pass. We now have a Ben.
Is there any other way to the pass apart from that boulder? Is that boulder literally blocking the only way in?
For that particular pass, sort of a 300 style, that is the only way into that area.
At least at the time it was. I mean, we could effectively say that times have changed, but we're saying that for the time being, that is a blocked off area. As far as that everyone is aware, that whatever evil was on the other side is stuck there, or at least that which cannot fly.
King Casimir, we did a decent amount of backstory details about Casimir, because he is a fairly major player in our backstory.
Sort of bounced into a lot of the other backstories as well in the end.
He does pop up. We've invented a few different people, and we've got a few other sort of continuation questions to look at in the future. So, the brambles are a thorn in the side of authority. They are far too impulsive and fail to plan their operations, and are unable to stick to those plans if they do make them. But after spending some time amongst his people, King Casimir realizes that they are just trying to stick up for their people, and he inspires them with the unity of the races, the alliance of Casimir. However, his rival is Baron Droke, a fast-talking, charismatic and passionate orator who is able to ply the will of people. Baron Droke wants to be king and will do what it takes to become the monarch. But Casimir can see how well that Baron Droke can inspire people with his speeches, and learns some of the charismatic nature that Casimir has comes from watching his cousin. The Raptors of Craven Wing are a powerful nation that stands against the forming of the alliance of Casimir. A great horde of raptors and their bloodthirsty ways has added greatly to the threat against his people. Casimir detests the thoughtless slaughter, the killing without cause, and the work of raptors is noticed in the lack of bodies, just blood-stained and empty burning villages. We mentioned that the Leviathan in Casimir's story is in the maelstrom to the east, being held at bay by Deimos, holder of the void. At the moment, devotion to Deimos and the vigilance of forts Casimir and Vigil are holding that at bay. Emberwolf is studying the phenomenon, leading to the setting up of the Emberwolf archives. This is such a dark, twisting, corrupted magic in the area that no one has been able to get close enough to confront the maelstrom itself. And then finally, King Casimir's nemesis was Queen Kaliska. Queen Kaliska wants King Casimir to come back safely from his wanderings and adventures and bring him to their arranged marriage. But during his time away, he walks among the many races of the land of Tamrinor and falls in love with a member of a different race, another race, Viorica, who he marries, and she becomes the queen. This causes Queen Kaliska to lose her chance to be his partner and to rule next to him. Attempting to bring the alliance to an early close and regain her place, she caused the slaughter of a village of one of the smaller races and frames the alliance, the greatest blow Queen Kaliska dealt to King Casimir. In an effort to quell the rampage and the reignition of racial tensions, Casimir exiled the Cliffsiders, the people who followed Queen Kaliska, but has kept her imprisoned. Things to potentially expand upon with her in the future. Could she take the title of an ancient kingdom that no longer exists to convey power and authority? And is it possible that she ultimately does kill Casimir in the end, but the idea of unity persists, and that's his ultimate victory, is that even without him being the figurehead of the leader of the alliance, the alliance persists without him.
Which I do love as a story concept. But effectively, it was never about his immortality. Yeah, his immortality has come through from the creation of this beast. How long it lasts is a different matter.
And finally, for this quick recap that has taken up the first half hour or so of the stream,
I'm not complaining, it gave me time to get in.
Trogak. Trogak, for whom the 5th day of the week is named. One day, Trogak awoke in a prison cell surrounded by guards. He had lost an important artifact that he would need very soon to seal away a beast that is terrifying the land and have the potential to destroy... I can't remember what, because apparently I didn't note down, but possibly the world?
I think when it came down to it, it said it was literally the potential to destroy, full stop. You didn't know what it had a potential to destroy.
Ah, well, it has the potential to destroy everything. Something.
Exactly. It could be everything, little thing, a lot. It's, once again, there's a grand thing that it could have been.
Trogak has an unexpected companion called Law, who speaks as if they have known each other for years. Retracing his steps, he came to a very run-down set of shacks and huts in a swamp, which he doesn't recall coming to, but the creatures here eye him with familiarity. Lord Grom is in charge. Not really a lord, he just calls himself that. After talking to someone who has a clearer idea of what happened the night before, Trogak discovers that the only way to recover the artifact will be travelling through time, which Law provides him a mystical way to travel through time and reveals that Law knows Trogak from the past that he is about to travel back into, where he will meet Law for the first time. In the attempt to reclaim the artifact, he learns it is landed in much more trustworthy hands than Trogak's. And the lesson he takes away from this whole incident is that he should drink more because it leads to crazy adventures and should not be trusted with world-ending artifacts.
Yeah.
And yes, law is indeed everywhere.
You just gain R's wherever you go, my dear.
The more places, the more R's. So yeah, those are the backstories that we developed last time. I don't know, Geoff, if you want to like a pirate. I don't know if you want to come up with some new names for some new adventurers, or if you want to.
Well, I don't do names very well.
Well, to be fair, neither did we, but we just sort of came up with random.
I don't know if... So, the options are we make 2 new heroes, and we come up with a nugget of story about each of them, or we have sort of, as I've been terming them, the big 3, and we could come up with a story that concerns the 3 logo characters. Which do you prefer?
We already have stories for the 3 logo characters, or are we changing them?
We do. We have the stories that we have for the logo characters. It's not necessarily that they are the only stories. I say let's come up with a new character. Other than Lore, can you come up with a name that isn't just your name with some more R's added to it?
Now that is asking a very difficult question.
Alternatively, Ben. For a heroic character, I mean, I guess one of the other questions I do have is, obviously, Emberwolf is an avian, and King Casimir's race is unknown.
Yes.
And we know Mira, Tak, and Eric's races. Trogak and Kar and Krim. From the races that we have at the moment, are any of them sticking out? I don't think any of them are going to be Antari touched, because Mira is the first.
Yeah.
Trogak sounds wild one to me.
Yeah, I could believe that.
It is kind of wild one. Because as well as that, it's got a sort of wild sort of story to it as well.
If I could start typing on the right bit of my keyboard. So, Trogak is a wild one. Kar, I feel we need to have some form of he's a strength-based person, so I feel he needs to be something.
Half wondering whether maybe we could throw in for one of our dwarves.
Yeah, dwarf feels right.
Because as well as that, the manipulation of what is effectively placed down as the impossible large boulder, that story sort of holds a bit more strength if it comes from the strength of our dwarf, who are mineral based and all that sort of thing. Effectively, the power of them help towards the reason why they're now accepted.
Yes.
For any kind of character, my dear. Literally, we can come up with the name and we can build a character around the name. For the sake of creating a brand new one tonight. So pretty much any name for any kind of character, anything which you have off the top of your mind, and it might get adapted and twisted away from where you started off. But we'll sort of play off of what the name sounds like, and we can throw a nice mythos behind.
I'm thinking for Krim we go elf.
That sounds good. Once again, giving a spread of the different races as well.
Similarly, Viorica, who is the person that Casimir did marry.
Yes.
I picked Tiefling. I felt that sort of fitted a controversial choice for.
To be fair, when it comes down to the Tiefling, has always ended up being that kind of controversial, because once again, appearance-wise and such forth, they are usually so stretched and far away that it does kind of make a little sense. Especially if we do our depictions of them might be quite elaborate as well, which I imagine they probably will end up being.
That also So that also brings in the question: was it genuine, or did she charm him somehow?
Well, that's another one of the little elements. Once again, the thing which I love about our king is that there is so much mystery behind them that we don't really know the answer to any of these questions. Aleri. Oh, I see John's ahead of me.
Oh, yeah. Aleri. Right. Geoff. Aleri. I'm going to go to... I've separated out the deck this time. So this deck of cards is entirely story openers.
Okay, cool.
Oh,
that was a good.
You're right there.
So far,
I had a nice little click to the back. That's all.
So far, the name is saying to me female.
Okay.
And avian.
That's screaming along the same lines for me as well.
So, avians. Gender. Female. And now going to the card. I'm going to pick another one that's more interesting. Say stop.
Stop.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I love that got such an awkward silence. I was trying to find out who.
I
At the exact same time, you stop me. Who?
I was trying to leave it for an awkwardly long time.
Well, you succeeded. There was definitely an awkward silence. You deserve a trophy. If we can get our little thing embossed up.
Okay.
I'm gonna start asking for John to just put random gifts up. Trophy with the big things, sparkles. We need all sorts of.
In a ruined, in a forest glade, Alari comes upon a hidden doorway. It hums with ancient magic.
Can I get a redraw?
Yep. Again, Geoff, after an awkwardly long time, if you could say stop.
Stop.
Well, I hope the problem wasn't that it was in a forest, because this card also happens to be in a forest.
No,
Deep-
it's just the rather obvious adventure opener.
Deep in the forest, you find a dark scene. Hooded figures chant around a statue.
Okay.
Do you
Is that
accept?
as far as it goes?
Do you? Well, there are questions, but do you accept that as your opener?
Yes.
So, in a forest, Aleri finds a dark scene. Hooded figures chanting around a statue. Is this a ritual to summon a great evil, or to keep one at bay?
You'd have fun with that, couldn't you? You could have it appear to be the first one, but it's actually the second one.
Thinking the exact same thing.
Okay, so while this appears to be the summoning of a great evil, it is in fact keeping an evil at bay. Alari.
What is it? It's actually a Morris dance, is what it is. It's actually the Morris dance.
It's actually nothing to do with a great evil. It's just they're having a bit of a dance around a statue in the forest. Okay, I'm now going to go to deck 2 of the deck of story cards, which I've entirely got the middle section of stories. So once again, Geoff, I'm going to say, after an awkward time, say stop when you are ready.
Stop.
Okay.
She leave.
Okay, I don't know how you want to connect from that story segment to this one, but Alari finds an empty cabin which contains a feast that is not what it seems. Danger lies in every corner.
Oh, that could be a fun little twist on that.
I
want to see what you come up with, but my mind is immediately jumping to connections. So I want to see what you come out with first, Geoff. I'm not letting you off the hook.
Well, obviously the cabin is alive. The priest is trapped and it tries to eat her.
Oh, that's definitely a different tactic which I was taking.
Aleri. That's not how you spell that. Aleri.
Could we...
What were you going to say, Geoff?
What was your thing? If that's the case, and it is to do with this ritual, Eleri disrupts the ritual.
Pretty much what my mind was to start off with. Larry made the mistake of disrupting the...
And as a consequence, this cabin is there, but it's like, was this cabin always there? Did it appear? Was it not there yesterday? Is it connected? Is it not connected? And then it tries to eat her, basically.
God, I could just imagine going out, just to add on to that literally from the moment of stopping the chance, the woodland around seemed to change. A place which she found so familiar beforehand is now so different. Even if you attempt to fly out, you can't, and it always leads back to the cabin.
This is basically Shub-Niggurath and the Dark Young.
Okay, let's see where the... I'd like to point out that the story deck that I have has very few cards that are just finishers. There's a lot of cards that share finishers. Al-Airy. So Geoff, if you would like to say stop, I'd prefer it after not too long, because there's about 6 cards here.
Take your time, Geoff. Take your time.
Stop.
Oh no, we're not going to want that one.
Right, Ben. I thought the best present to buy John for his birthday or for Christmas.
What's that?
There's a game called Once Upon a Time, which is pretty much exactly what we're trying to do here.
Okay. I can see where Ben... I think I can see where Ben is going to tie this one in. I'm curious to see how this goes. Your final story element for Aleri. A legendary city materializes outside a port. Its buildings appear to float. What has caused its sudden return?
What? That's a bit of a left at the lights. Just going along, absolutely fun. Suddenly, nope, left at the lights. What's going on?
My thought, and I, having disrupted the ritual and possibly at this point killed a cabin, the ritual was actually also keeping this city at bay.
I had a different tactic entirely, that effectively the rituals to hold back effectively a incredibly powerful trickster god who caused a lot of mayhem in the past, and somehow they managed to convince into this, like, think kind of like Mr. Mixelplick.
Oh, they convinced him to say his name backwards.
They've managed to trick him in a manner which they found out along the way on how to convince him into a place of hiding. He couldn't leave as long as the chant continued. They broke the chant. This thing was allowed out. This trickster immediately played in, inviting for a meal, and it was very adamant that you were going to join for the meal. And after having a bit of fun, and as a little thank you for the sake of letting me free, I'm going to return the city which I took so long ago. And literally it floats down and chains itself back to the land. Never stop floating. And as for the sake of anybody or anything which might still be in there is a different matter entirely, but they are returned. Oh.
We've lost Geoff for a minute.
Oh no.
Intentionally, he messaged me to say that it was happening.
Oh, well, that's not so bad then.
I feel we'll come back to this particular story.
Oh, I think so when it comes to, because once again, we've effectively given rein to Geoff. It kind of feels wrong to sort of take it away at the end. So we'll come back to this one. So,
another point of business I wanted to do tonight. This episode sort of feels to me a bit like we're going to jump over the place a little bit, because we're sort of tying up a number of loose ends that we've left in previous streams and bits that we didn't get to in other ones.
Which we're very good at, to be fair. We've been doing that. We'll start opening up some other ones and leaving some frayed knots all over the place, but still.
So, when we did our months...
Yes.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the months at the moment that don't have a god or goddess associated with them.
Yes.
So we have the 4th month with Bloom, the 5th month of Measure, and the 7th month of Venture, and then 9 and 10 of Bounty and Feast. Don't currently have gods associated with them.
For the sake of, remind me, do we have any gods which seem to be trick based? So I have wondered whether maybe from taking that story which we've been following. No, actually no. I'm trying to think of one where more it's acting almost like an appeasement. Because the others are sort of more celebration, but one more being twisted into an appeasement of sorts. Thinking along the lines of like Old Hallows Eve. I believe we've already got something which kind of goes along those lines anyway, but it's along, rather than having it as a celebration of actual changing of the tides, it is literally, so yeah, we've got the Fool's Feast.
We don't have a trickster god who isn't currently a month. So the closest I think we've got to what could be considered a trickster god is Asin the Spark, who has literally been labelled a chaotic neutral trickster god.
As in the god of inspiration and the drive to all manner of thoughts.
But their month, they are the 6th month of the year, Asin's Joy.
Well, that's the thing. I'm thinking not necessarily so much a neutral god as more of a basically playing off of the way we take a look at Halloween now, or not too long ago, where it was a case of keeping the evil spirits at bay by having fun, playing around, and dressing up as effectively it was an appeasement rather than anything else. Whereas being Asin was there is no trying to make you do negative things or anything. It is literally inspiration. It is a spark which will drive you for absolutely everything which is seen as both trickster and inspiration.
So my thought, to start with, is Bloom. I think Bloom is Novaly. Novalee is the goddess of love.
Makes sense.
And also Geoff is here now.
Hey! I will say at one point, I'm also going to need you to remind me a link onto this page, or if there is a link onto this page, I can actually take a look through as well.
There isn't. It's stored locally on my computer. We can work something out.
That's fine. When it comes, it's more for the sake of trying to remember all of the different gods, bits and pieces. When I know that it's been written down somewhere, I sort of forget about points of, oh yeah, maybe I should keep note on all these.
So I think Novalee's Bloom.
That makes some sense.
Is our 4th month. So, no, we don't currently have a... We don't have a Loki.
No.
As it were. I mean...
Evanora, they're close, but not quite on the... It's more in a case if you stumble into theirs, they'll play.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, also equally, she is labelled as a trickster. I wasn't really particularly picking on her as a thing. It's just that
it's once again
I happened to click on one of them.
Yeah. Mind you, it was a happy little click. I'll say that much when it comes to that.
A decent click, yes. So yeah, we're gonna need
to Evanora 2A.
We have Evanora's Light is the 2nd month of the year. It's when light is starting to come back into the world.
Okay.
So I think we're gonna need a new god. I think we're gonna need 4 new gods, to be fair.
I think that's a fair point. So, what are the titles of the months which we need to fill again? It was the...
Measure, Venture, Bounty, and Feast. So I think Bounty needs to be sort of a agricultural god.
I would definitely agree.
Venture sounds to me like some sort of...
I'd say that kind of sounds like one who... I would place that down as effectively a god who inspires adventure itself.
Adventure and journeys, I feel.
Yes.
Elefeth.
Elefeth the Bounty.
Elefeth
the Bounty. Be Bounty. I am misreading things in the chat. This is good.
Elefeth. I like the name.
It's a nice name. And to be fair, that's the other side of things. Having a dryad god is not a bad idea at all, actually, for the sake of actual harvest and bounty. I can imagine that effectively in a scorched and a more empty land, as it were. Almost like a trade of sorts that whoever took care of that particular part of land brought water to it. And as thanks, the god Elefeth brought agriculture, or potential of agriculture, as it brought upon, as their forests began to be able to drink from the water and feed from the river they dug nearby.
So Elefeth's Bounty.
Effectively, that being a story of trade. That they came to a land and perhaps they heard the whispered promise. They bring water to this land. The flow of water will bring you food.
So, with our other gods, just to... We came up with a number of names for them.
Yes.
So... Asin, the gentle nudge, the untethered thought, and the intrusive one. Beffin, the folio of eras, the never-ending, the lawkeeper, the ever-thought, and the compendium of all. Deimos, the holder of the void, Droth, the last breath, Uana, the verdant queen.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to take one of Uana's names, the mother of growth, and I'm going to give that to Elitheth. Because I feel that Elitheth is sort of the growth, the food, whereas Uana's the Elitheth is the flora and Uana is the fauna.
Yeah. How about this one? Elitheth, the first seed.
I like it. I also have to remember to tag Elitheth as a god. Geoff, any thoughts?
With these gods, do we have gods who are opposed to them?
We haven't really got a... No, not a super amount. Like, we have Nephali and Evanora have been exiled by the gods. We know that Evanora is angry about this, and that Nephali is a or at least was a nicer person about it.
I'm glad to hear you're alive.
I'm just picturing that as like Goliath breaking out. I live again!
I'm just thinking, since Evanora is keeper of the garden, could that be in opposition to Elitheth, the mother of growth?
The only thing is, isn't the garden our different section, isn't it? It's a different realm of sorts, isn't it?
The Garden of Starless Skies is her realm, and it's sort of the Feywild, but there's nothing to say that she and Elitheth couldn't be rivals.
It is very true, they could have been. In which case, when Evanora ended up almost, once again, the whole thing of being shoved into exile to the garden,
we don't know.
Took over.
Like,
or maybe it was Elitheth who did it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we place in that actual distinct knowledge, nor should I say that should be a knowledge which is actually easily known. But effectively, Evanora went out of the picture, Elitheth took in and went for everything. So took over our plane, in which case, more of a reason why as well Evanora would have against... already had their prior, and now this on top of it, you've now taken over everything which I've created and twisted it into your own method. It creates a more of a madness from our version of the Fey realm. Which will allow for a little bit of play later down the line.
So, if I put in Evanora's notes, Elitheth, Mother of Growth, has taken over her former purview. And is a rival to Evanora.
Throw in, no one knows whether they were rivals before or after Evanora's exile. because that opens up for a wonderful story. That's either a case of they could have been working side by side and something else has happened, or it could have been that LFF could have been a reason why Evanora is in the Fae in the first place.
Yes. And as
Once again, they could be pretty much at least all stories open for the time being until they are discovered later.
as Law says,
Which
they
sounds
could have
nice.
been lovers.
Yeah.
They were roommates.
Just for one day.
They were roommates in God College. This one time at band camp, it got really wild. That's a dated reference.
That is. Problem is that I don't know. I'm not even going to touch on that side of things.
So we also have. We don't have an epitaph or a sub-name for Nephali. She is the goddess of the dreaming. She is the sister of Evanora, Keeper of the Garden. And apparently the nicer of the two sisters.
Let's see.
And we also don't have, while I'm getting brain cogs thinking about things, we don't have a name for Novalee, the goddess of love.
Keeper of Slumber?
Keeper of Slumber.
Knight's Blessing.
I like it. Elitheth's rival's name is Evanora, Keeper of the Garden, milady. Actually, I'm going to put Knight's Blessing as her main name, because I like that one. Nephali, Knight's Blessing. Evanora and Nephali are sisters, yes.
Gifter of Dreams. Doesn't ring quite right, does it? Because I want almost that whole point of giving dreams, but Dreamweaver.
Dream. I'm going to make sure to separate that into two words so that Adobe don't come after us.
Don't know what you're on about.
Yeah.
Wait, there's a Dreamweaver?
It's their
Website. It's their
website
maker.
program.
Evanora was
Evanora and Nephali have both been banished from the over pantheon world. According to the story that we had for Evanora, someone did something to her that someone did something to Nephali that Evanora wanted justice for. Possibly harming whoever that was. And who has manipulated the others into thinking that they had done nothing wrong. And the others sided with the sister.
against the sisters.
Sided against the sisters. Sided with the god against the sisters. Who were punished by casting them into the Garden of Starless Skies, or the Dreaming, respectively. And yes, Law, you please feel free to suggest things.
Oh, yeah. Half the fun of this stream.
We won't necessarily take it, but you are more than welcome to suggest things. Any thoughts for Novaly? I feel Blush needs to come into it at some point. Heart's Blush?
Heartbinder? Soulbinder? Heart's Blush, yes.
I'm going to throw in the Cherished one.
Undying Devotion. Novaly, the Undying Devotion. That's quite a nice one for a key name.
Yes. Novaly, the Undying Devotion, the Heart's Blush, the Soulbinder. Robbie Jenkins. Robbie Jenkins.
That's a name for it.
has redeemed a stretch.
Oh, don't ever say that.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
So everyone now has a key name, which is nice. Robbie's was feeling stiff. Also, hello.
Hi. Good to see you.
That's a good point. I have noted that down in her festival, but I haven't put it in her own entry yet. Goddess of all love in all forms. There we go. If I just copy that and then go back to Novaly. Novaly.
So I like the idea of this. LFF, Evanora, a couple. Protector and nurturer, perfect couple. LFF pleaded Evanora not to act over Mathai, but Evanora did, and they were banished. So LFF sees that as Evanora chooses Nefali over her, is heartbroken and bitter. That's why they are now rivals. It's an interesting feel to it. Effectively bringing all nature together.
I'm happy to throw it in.
I have nothing against that for the sake of a suggestion. I think it works quite nicely. Almost giving a reason on both sides as to why their rivalry has grown. Evanora effectively, well, just disliking the fact that they've been taken over quite so easily. And Evanora on the other side, for the sake of almost feeling the rejection.
I'll put that
I don't know
in.
with that concept of the positive of love, nothing negative or even jealousy, in which case I would be so inclined to suggest there being another one. Effectively our own version of despair.
I was gonna
negative emotions.
I was gonna say I feel that we sort of need then a god of jealousy.
Because it's either one where you encounter encompass it all, or you have effectively that god of jealousy, that god of this passion, which I would love to also play down. That though they are that god, it's more a case of that they look after the ones who have fallen into that pit. They look after them, and perhaps they end up feeling negative against the other ones who sort of place the ones who inadvertently worship them. See, as much as jealousy, that's fair.
Okay, so going back to the months real fast. I feel we need a god of adventure, of travel, of going places, of doing things.
I kind of feel like it needs to be like our version of Tom Bombadil.
Yes.
Someone which is undoubtedly a god, and yet at the same time so doubtedly a god, but has been known for the grand ventures which they have taken and inspired so many to do the same.
Is on that edge of like, do they get in because everybody knows them? Like, is that the only reason they're a month named after them?
I think they get in for the sake of that they are. There are so many that believe that they are a god. Many question whether they are or they're not. Even the ones that do actually believe that there's a god, that still have that seed of doubt. But at the same time, they're so the adventures and such, everything which has gone through, seems so far beyond what any mortal could potentially do. In fact, we're almost talking like almost like the journeys of Maui, that is placed down in a standing of almost like what you would expect a mortal person. You know, I walked, I sailed, I ran, I did this, but then I went into the pits and I dragged up heat and fire, and I went across the seas and found these grand things which we'd never seen before. It's that kind of half and half. It's like you're almost on our level, but you're too high above our level to be our level. It's like a god who is fixed to the land.
Felkite.
Elkite, I like that. Oh, Felkite.
Felkite. I mean, also, if I put another E god or goddess in, we've got a lot of E's. Evanora and Eletheth. But Elkite. Elkite's venture. Felkite's venture.
In which case, this has to be our version of the Wanderer.
So, well, I mean, there we go. Felkite, the Wanderer. God of adventure and travel. Tanny has sent me a thing.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Possible suggestion for goddess of... I'm assuming, is that a name for them, Tanny? Daenerys? So Tanny has suggested for the goddess or god of jealousy, Deianira. Deianira. And then has also sent through one that's just labelled Hadion the Destroyer.
I do
Hadion,
like the concept of a god of destruction.
Hadion or Deianira. I mean, to be fair, a god of destruction. Oh, what was? Bear with me, but you guys talk amongst yourselves about those gods. Hadion is potentially the male god of jealousy. Hadion or Deianira for god or goddess of destruction. Take your pick.
I'd say to try and stay away from using one which is close to Hades in his pronunciation. I'd probably place that one down for the sake of Hadion being of jealousy. So we're not like making it look like we're just stolen everything which we've got. Because when it comes down to destruction, I kind of want to stretch that out as well, but it goes into war as well. Because I think that would be... We need a god of war of kinds. Or at least a god of conflict, and I think destruction works quite nicely into that.
That is fair.
What about a god of annihilation?
Well, let's say the god of war would have issues with annihilation. He wants victors. He needs conflict to survive. With annihilation comes true peace.
I think everybody would have issues with that, to be honest.
Oh, I know, but as well as that, it's also dawning on that whole concept that we need conflict between the ones. And what I would love more than anything else is the god of literal conflict, of issues of war, of all that kind of thing, has conflict with the person who is there of annihilation. The god of destruction hates the god of annihilation because it destroys everything, in which case there is nothing to destroy. It eliminates his purpose just for the sake of a single god. Just at the whole point that when it comes down to every war, everything, every siege, the god of destruction is constantly ensuring that there is only so much, while the god of annihilation is trying to convince them to go that final step.
Oh, to the god of war there must be a victor, otherwise it wasn't a war.
Exactly. There is no victor if you destroy everything. You should only destroy so much. Sorry, when it comes down to there, I have literally come up with Pantheon before, and God of Destruction is one of my favorite ones, just for the sake of literally, I want to destroy it. Doesn't mean I want to destroy everything, otherwise what on earth am I here for? It's always been my absolute favorite. As well as that, the storyline which I love, which was there's the God of War, who effectively is one of the most powerful gods out there, but does nothing. They don't need to, they already do it themselves.
I do like that with the it's very good omens.
Well, this is the thing. I like the suggestion actually came from someone suggesting on how to do Wonder Woman just a little smidge better, which is that Hades, Ares gets their power from the prayers of the humans, which comes in the form of war in their sense. But he has never had to ask for a prayer.
Yes.
He's never had to convince them to do a single thing. he's just been slowly gaining more and more power because they just do it themselves. Just for that wonderful little part at the end where she goes up, she fights and tries to take down Ares, and then realizes that, well, why is the war carrying on? It's like, when you realize that
I wasn't doing this.
I don't need to do anything. They do it themselves.
Um,
I'm just here to enjoy the show. And I just love that as a concept.
I mean, I love. There's a story I've read before where a military commander attempts to summon the god of war, and thinks they're going to get Ares or Athena, and instead gets a little girl. And she points out, like, well, no, Ares isn't the god of war. Ares is the god of tactics.
Yeah.
And Athena's the goddess of tactics. Ares is... I can't remember what Ares is at, like, but I'm the god of war. I'm the god of those dying when they shouldn't have. The slaughter of the innocent. You meant to summon me, Emperor. So for the god of war, because obviously the god of destruction, I feel that you've possibly, if you haven't yet, you will have a strong idea in your head for them in a minute. For the god of war's name, I've got the second half of a name, so does anybody have the first half of a name that will fit with Eris?
Myaris.
Myaris. Spelled like that, do we think? I'll give stream delay a minute.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where I like the way that it rolls off the tongue, and yet I look at the spelling, it's like, it doesn't quite look right to me. And yet at the same time, I love the way that it speaks so nicely, but doesn't read quite as nicely. I don't know if that's just me.
How about that? Sounds a little rude, according to Theo. That's fair.
Oh, I can see the whole side of thing that you say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see him then.
Strange.
Let's see. Out of the alphabet, which one have we not even touched upon yet? Have we got anything beginning with a Z?
No.
Xerus.
Xeraus.
Xeraus. It's one of the trying to get something which has a strong. It feels like it should have a lot of a stronger appeal, but once again, twisting round to exactly that, whereas almost like the old man just watching the field. Nothing. I don't really do anything. You realize that, don't you?
Xeraus, the Iron Paragon.
So I would love for the mythos behind them to be so much more powerful. And that perhaps maybe in a heyday it was the initial spark, and then after people realize that with war they can gain reward, they didn't require it. It's just been sat on the sideline watching ever since, enjoying the
just
show.
Over here,
wanting to enjoy the show. Pretty much, yeah, exactly. I'm just here watching, but the mythos behind them is so much more powerful that they literally come in and strive and will fight for one of the sides of the battle, and where you'll literally have people calling out for him, and he will turn up. but no one will ever recognize him because there can't be the god of war.
I also feel like, as we were discussing, with like, he's also like, he strides into the battle to like stop the slaughter of the side that has given up. Like, no, it's not a war anymore.
It's effectively, once the side has given up, it's a case of, we stop this war now. There is no holy... That is enough destruction for the day, after once again realizing that if he lets it loose, that is annihilation, one thing which he cannot stand to see happen. Does not want annihilation to take over. It is a case of, you have won the glory of the battle. It is done. You don't need any more. That is where he becomes a big striding thing. That's where the people think that he's won the victory, is he's becoming an imposing thing to stop it. And they always take it as the final blow. But that could be an interesting one. The shape changer of sorts, effectively.
Striding into wars to fight alongside the soldiers, cause most conflicts to pray to him. He tends to only stop fights after the opposing side has surrendered. Okay.
God, I like that one. It's just, I don't need to come in. Why are you calling for me? I'm not going to do anything for you. I would love that side of things as well. Later on, there's a story of just him. No, I'm having a me day. Just give it to the other. Like, I need you to take care of this. You're the god of love. Make them love each other or something. I don't know. Just give them a day. I need a day.
I can't help but feel like Xeris...
Oh god, that could be like the reason of things like, in the middle of the war when the game of football in No Man's Land is where Ares is like, come down and say, peace? Peace for now.
I just have this idea that Xeris is like always this suit of armor, and like this idea of him doing a me day is just him, the full suit of armor, like stretched out on a sun lounger with a pair of cucumber slices over the eyes of the armor.
And that's the thing when it comes down to
I love that.
As the god, he could effectively literally just be almost like a sentient suit of armor of sorts.
Yeah.
Or at very least, no one has seen on the inside, and it's almost effectively his skin. And just has the appearance of armor, thus why he is constantly seen as the god of war. Whereas really it's really the god of ceasing war. Or stopping for honorable war. God, gotta be the one, a god of, effectively a warforged god of sorts.
The referee says law. Does Xeris have a month?
The only thing is, I would place that because Xeris is known as the god of war, but it's not necessarily.
He's probably not the sort of person. Although, to be fair, we have March. Oh, yeah? Which is named for Mars, the god of war.
That is true.
So it's not out of the realms of possibility.
We could even sort of throw down that maybe it's along the lines of it's a remembrance of some of the greater, darker wars before the Unity. Effectively being placed down, but they were necessary to build for where we are. And so they have things for the sake that it laid the groundwork for the Unity which came, that followed.
We have 2 months left. Measure and feast. So do we think it's Xerxes' measure?
For the sake, what month have we got down for the feast?
I'll try that again, but in English. Feast is currently the 10th month, October time.
Okay, I think that's something which we'll probably leave for something. Because I was thinking, kind of taking on like our elements of our Remembrance Day. Effectively, they're having a month of it instead. Of around that time was through that period of that month, the wars came to its end. The unity bloomed around that point.
So maybe Xerxes' feast.
So, well, I was just thinking actually the measure kind of makes sense, but it became the measure of the nations, of the races, of the species of the world. The measure of who you are and what you stand for.
So, Xerxes' measure. So, at the moment, our year runs Nephali's slumber, Evanora's light, Uana's breath, Novali's bloom, Xerxes' measure, Asin's joy, Felkite's venture, Beffin's respite, Elipheth's bounty, Somebody's feast, Deimos's relent, and Droth's claim.
Okay, yeah.
So I feel we need the spooky month.
Once again, I'd like to put forward that as effectively an appeasement month of one of the darker sides. So almost to keep them at bay.
You get a month on the calendar so that you don't do something worse than that.
Exactly. Because the other side of thing, a lot of the gods which we've had on the good side of of our spectrum. We're focusing very much on the things they've achieved, which makes sense. These are the ones who got put into the calendar after all.
I'm wondering if it's... along a similar lines, I'm wondering if it's one of the ones that is not necessarily the darker side, but not too far to the dark side.
Okay. Makes sense. And once again, you don't want dark.
Yeah.
It's more the lighter side. It's more like the chaotic ones.
Yes.
The ones who could be swayed to be good or bad, depending.
To use the somewhat mythological sense, you don't give a month to Thera's-Dune because he is up for destroying everything. Regardless, it doesn't matter if you put him as a month in the calendar, he wants the destruction of all the things. But
why do I just love the image of some angels just going out to we'll get you in the calendar.
But for instance, Loki, for the most part, there are stories where he's not an evil prick.
Yeah. Constantly craving attention, in which case you could potentially sway their mind by saying, look, you're important. You're here.
Or for instance,
you a month.
On the same sort of scale, in our modern day setting, we see Hades a lot as the villain. But to the Greeks, he was just a dude doing his job.
Yeah.
I mean, a god doing their job, but, the point stands. He wasn't evil. He was just the god of death.
It was downright nice.
Yeah.
The amount of people that just talked to him, and then it's like, yeah, go ahead, go back on Earth and sort out your bits and pieces and come down afterwards.
That's why it's like Death on the Discord, isn't it?
Yeah. He's not evil, he's just there.
Yeah.
So I feel we need
for the sake of the subject of which they are.
We need a god that is chaotic and not necessarily evil, but I mean, to be fair, along those
I
lines,
think actually
we
going
already
along
have
with the aspect.
Evanora, who's on the dark side. We have Asin, who is on the chaotic side.
I was just thinking, going along with the aspect of which you've just said, when it came down to death in the Discworld,
And Droth,
So
who
the-
is death.
just having a character very much along that, like a misunderstood character of sorts, who is constantly perceived as more on the negative side of things, and perhaps as disheartening of sorts. I'm thinking kind of along the lines of Jack Frost from the Guardians, when it comes down that because they were misunderstood, they felt lost, they felt alone, they sort of lost their drive. Things went a lot worse thanks to it, because he never gained thanks for anything, and thus this is one of those little bits which maybe inspires them to do more or be better. And this is me very, very loosely trying to think of something along here. Because
I'm
we
also-
already have our God of Death.
Felkite, I've just added that he is also the god of stories.
Very
because-
good ad.
That feels
Oh, it adds
a thing.
there. I'm going along with the spooky side of things. We could effectively have a god which is almost trying to keep the breaches of the different realms. But thanks to the perception of it, because whenever you see them, they seem to be corralling or controlling demons or monsters which have managed to make their way through, beings that shouldn't belong to this world and such. Because really all they're trying to do is get them back. They don't really care about the people around at the time or anything like that. Their only focus is
they've
on their
got a
job,
job
which they're
to
doing.
do.
But thanks to that misunderstanding, they do this as an appeasement for don't let the demons out and don't let them play, and for some reason it seems to put them at bay. Whereas it could be a part where they're actually sort of bringing an appeasement to those beasts at the same time.
So maybe sort of a god of thresholds, of crossings, of
Yeah, a god of the crossing.
god of the crossings, god of the thresholds, god of the crossroads.
Yeah.
We don't have much in the P to Q area. If you can come up with any names that start with that. Or Tanny has just sent me a whole bunch of names. Mavros.
Mavros.
Tanny is yelling at me to read them out. Ismin. Read them all out. Okay, I'll start at the top. Okay. Darcio. Alexander. Ismin. Aesira. Lorcan. Sipple. Zivran. Mavros. Asvolda. Feolan. Alaric. Lyle. Sierra. La Luna. Azeroth. Zayden.
Patreon Zintos.
I was going to say Zayden. Melantha. Mincy. Erix.
You said one to begin with Ismin? Ismin?
Ismin.
Ismin. How is that spelled?
Ismene.
I imagine that with a Y for some reason. Yismin.
I did say Astaroth.
Metreon Zintos.
because Ben did that.
Yeah.
Oh, I apparently missed out the T.
Yeah. I know. I thought
It's
that
alright,
was.
I prefer that one. Getting a bit of Teen Titans in there.
I did wonder. I did wonder. Did you mean to say one of the places from Warcraft?
But I kind of like the idea of the Yizmin. I see it with a Y for some reason, the Yizmin, instead of the I. But that has a nice sound to
Yizmin.
it. Once again,
Astaroth, by the way, is Hebrew for demon.
ah,
I think it's also similar to where we get the word asteroid.
true. Firing thing through the sky. I can certainly see the connection. Yizmin, the cross breacher.
Asteroid comes from the Greek for star. I wonder if that is what we...
There probably is.
Chocolate spread on toast.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yizmin, Watcher at the Crossroads. Watcher... I like Watcher.
Protector of the cross. I like the Watcher as well, to be fair.
Yizmin, the Watcher. I like it even better when I put all the letters in the right order. Protector at the Crossroads. So you said one earlier that was Breach.
Yes, the Defender of the Breach.
Defender of the Breach. Oh, actually, how about instead of that... Oh, I delete lots of things. Breach Guard.
The Breach Guard, yes.
Or the Breach Guardian.
I know I placed down the last one, the Tamer. Once again, for the sake of yielding and bringing back the beasts and such, which do not belong from this realm.
Geoff,
But if I was going to place... Oh, yeah.
Geoff, what do you think for the key name for Yizmin?
Crossroads, breach. I want something
Yizmin.
with path in it. Path. Pathstrider?
Pathstrider? Yizmin the Pathstrider?
Sounds good to me.
Yizmin the Pathstrider, the Watcher, Protector at the Crossroads, the Breach Guardian, and the Tamer. And I've got another message. Is it from Tanny? Yes. It is the meaning of Ismian.
Ah.
Okay. And so it is Ismin's feast.
I like that as an idea. Effectively, every feast, every one, they lay a place for Yizmin, for them to join, for them to be with. Which could then stretch out into things like similar to the Day of the Dead, where every family would also hold a place for their past loved ones and such forth. But it started up with Yizmin, so they might join into the celebrations and rest.
Somewhere to rest.
Yeah.
Every
But it's
observer...
very important to rest your toes.
Yeah. Especially when you're out there every day path striding.
Well, exactly.
Every observer of Fool's Feast lays a place for Ismene the Pathstrider to ensure that she might have somewhere to rest.
I like that.
I also liked, I don't know if you saw the two blobs just suddenly went, oh, we're next to each other. Whoop.
No, I missed that.
It was like, Ismene was up here somewhere, and it suddenly just went, shwum. Because suddenly Fool's
that whole side of
Feast...
things of, wait, I'm not disconnected anymore. I'm in here.
I exist.
Okay. There was another thing I wanted to do, and we've got probably just enough time to do it.
I was going to say, weren't we going to go back to finish off Geoff's hero?
We were. But there's another thing I want to do, if I remember where I put the books. Right, let's go back and finish Geoff's hero. Real fast. So Geoff.
Yes.
Alari has entered into a cabin that is trying to eat her, having stopped a ritual that she believed was a cult trying to summon something evil, but instead turns out to have been a cult trying to keep a great evil at bay. Having survived the encounter at the cabin, a legendary ancient, potentially ancient, city materializes nearby.
I thought you said that was in the sea. That's the disconnect for me, because you've gone from the forest to the sea all of a sudden.
Yeah, do you want me to see if I can find another...
Yeah.
We've already done that one.
This is the downside of doing random things.
No. That's
I
an
wanted
ending.
to become like, since she realised that she caused whatever it happened because she disrupted the ritual, she then takes on the role of, she takes on responsibility herself to maintain the ritual, if that makes sense. Sounds like concentration.
Too much concentration all over the place, I'm afraid, sorry.
Shadows play on the wall, then come to life. Is this an attack or a message?
What wall?
Of the cabin, maybe? It could be that maybe they give the message of how to lock away the dark and evil thing. And then, as you say, she takes over what the previous people she thought were cultists do.
Yeah.
So, after defeating the cabin, that's a sentence.
That's a sentence that has been written, yes.
The shadows on the wall come alive and teach Alari how to seal away the evil spirits that corrupt this section of the forest. She then takes over from the people she thought were cultists. Alari rhymes with fairy. Alari. Alari rhymes with fairy. There we go. That's how you say that sentence that Law said.
So I did love the way you're going. Alari rhymes with Hari.
Yes. That's how it rhymes if you say it completely wrong.
Like I do every time.
So I wanted to go back to the book that we looked at originally when we made Deimos.
Okay.
Because in the book, it suggests that each of the gods should have a connection, or each of the gods should have two connections. Be they positive, negative, or complicated.
Okay.
So I'm going to put that book over there. I'm going to put this book here a little bit. And we're going to have a quick look through the gods and just make sure that each of the gods has connections to the other gods of the pantheon.
Do they need to be connected to all the gods of the pantheon?
So this suggests that each of the gods have at least two connections. So they're not going to be, not all of them are going to be connected to every other one.
Okay, that's fine then.
But like, at the very least, each god is going to be connected to two others. So, for instance, Evanora is already connected to two gods. Nephali, the Knight's Blessing, is her sister, and Elipheth is her former lover. And both Nephali and Elipheth are connected to Evanora, so they each have one connection.
Pardon me.
So I don't know if you want to do this by rolling dice.
We can do.
Or at the very least, we can start it that way.
Yeah, sure.
Do you have a D12 to hand?
I do.
Yes.
Okay, you both have D12s to hand. Excellent.
Yeah, we're both nerds. Fancy that.
My dice box is in the car, which I'll need to remember to stop it being in the car before D&D next weekend. Hopefully I can in that time. Okay, so for Asin, do you both want to roll me a D12?
I got a 1.
I got a 5.
Okay, Ben, would you like a positive, negative, or complicated relationship for Asin?
Being there a trickster god, I'm gonna go and god of inspiration. I'm gonna say complicated.
Blank is a useful tool, but I feel no loyalty to them.
Ooh. I am very tempted to say that it's Yuzumi. Just for the sake of when it comes down, that the inspiration behind it's both for the sake of fear, it could be for the sake of good, it could be for the sake of a lot of different bits and pieces. I can imagine that it's a very complicated thing between them before, where when these beasties get through, Asim can almost create the idea that that was the past strider who's caused this misfortune. This side of things, or a mixture of it all. Because once again, they just like to create the inspiration. They like to create the spark. Oh no! Sorry, take that away. Actually, best one would be our Tom Bombadil.
Ah, so that would be Felkite.
Felkite.
Because
Yeah,
let's face it, the storyteller is the perfect one there.
Boink. Also, yeah, definitely for this bit, be watching the
dots.
The dots, as they are going to be flying around and new lines are going to be forming. Geoff, would you like a positive, negative, or complicated relationship?
Are you asking me?
For
myself or for
Asin.
Let's go positive.
Blank is my protector, and I trust them. Who protects the spark?
Trying to read description here. Evanora.
Ooh.
Evanora is my protector, and I trust.
You're right. They do fly around the screen a bit, don't they?
They do.
It's great fun. I don't think we've shown this on the stream yet, but there is also this animation where we watch it build up again from scratch.
Oh, I love that. It's like it's alive.
It's when it doesn't stop growing, even though there's nothing else for it to grow with.
What is interesting is the dots do actually change size based on how many connections they have. So you don't see it so much on this one, but there's like, yeah, King Casimir here has a lot of connections. You can see he's quite a big dot. On the one I have for the D&D group, where I was using it to rework out the backstory of Luna Silvermoon for the end of Clutches of the Cult. Her dot and Briar's dot are massive. And all of the player characters' dots, in theory, should be that big. But yeah. Beffin, the Folio of Eras. Would you like to both roll me a d12?
Yeah.
Okay, I got 6 this time.
I got a 6 as well.
Okay. You can't pick the same answer. I'm going to say Geoff first. Would you like a positive, negative, or complicated?
We haven't had a negative one yet. Let's have a negative one.
So Beffin, if I had the power, I would strike at blank without hesitation.
Ooh.
Who's our god of destruction?
That was Zeros.
That Zeros?
Zeros
Yeah,
is the god of war.
So it's the closest we have to, because
we didn't settle for a god of destruction.
No, Zeros was going to be our god of war and destruction, or effectively would be a subsidy of.
We were going to have another god that was.
Well, it was of annihilation.
Of annihilation. So.
An obvious one.
Would you like it
Zeros
to be?
I'm going to go with Zeros actually, because war destroys history, basically.
Yeah, I like that. Corrupts the history books, definitely.
Well, not that it actually it could actually destroy.
Destroy.
Oh no,
Right.
no, I get that. I get that as well. But
Yeah.
as well as not only destroying but corrupting the actual history. So corrupting the knowledge.
Ben, positive or complicated?
I'm gonna go with positive. I think that this one's gonna be very easy, one-side cover.
Blank once made me a splendid gift, and I shall never forget.
Ooh. I'm gonna put that down to Elipeth, our latest god.
Elipeth.
Elipeth.
Elafeth.
That almost one of the libraries, one of the Emberwolf archives is literally a living one created by Elipeth for him, potentially to gain favor if people believe in that side of things, to try and gain the favor of some of the other gods, and it is a gift which you'll never forget because it adds to the library.
So Droth already has one connection. Droth is the lover of Uana, the Verdant Queen.
Okay.
So, Geoff, roll me a d12.
Okay. But 10.
So, Droth, the god of death, positive, negative, or complicated?
Complicated.
Oh,
Oh.
10, you say?
I did say 10.
I do not know that blank is not my child.
No. No. That's getting into
Ooh.
something else there. I did. So read that again, please. I do not know that.
I do not know that whomsoever we choose here is not my child. So I guess that is who is not the child of the god of life and death.
Everybody.
Oh, more specifically, it's probably going to be along the lines of that would believe that it is the child, though.
He believes it is his child.
Well, I suppose in a metaphorical sense, everybody is the child of Droth because everybody is alive, everybody dies.
Yeah.
So you could say everybody is a child. So who is outside that?
I feel it's got to be it's got to be one of the gods that is the child of, probably is the child of Uana and someone other than Droth.
Can you remind me what Uana does again?
Uana is the goddess of life.
I am half tempted to say perhaps the god which is holding back the maelstrom?
Deimos.
Dinos.
What
The
do you
one
think?
who's trying to keep the balance, is effectively trying to keep the balance of life and death, seemingly. It will kind of make some sense in that regard. As to who the actual... Although, I mean, the other side thing might not actually have another for its creation, he just believes that he was a part of it.
So I do not know that Deimos, holder of the void, is not my child.
That's a good one.
So Deimos Deimos, holder of the void, master of the maelstrom, living storm. Are we gonna say that Uana is his mum?
I think when it comes down to that, Iwana should be the mum. I think. as literally a creator of creation all itself, I would say so. Yes.
So Uana, the Verdant
Would you
Queen,
agree with that, Geoff?
Yeah.
is
Yep.
his mother.
I have a feeling that when it comes down to it, our God of Death is just believing because he's been around for so long, and in their fluxes of love, that surely that is the reason why there's actually he's had absolutely no part in it.
If we don't see you
It's
again,
just the mother
Law,
of all.
sleep well.
Indeed. But yeah,
So,
once again, best of luck.
Ben, would you like to roll me a d12?
Yeah. That is a 9.
So for Deimos' other relationship, would you like a positive, negative, or complicated?
I will go with complicated. I think everything with Deimos is going to be complicated. So,
Blank is moving down a dark path, but I feel it is my duty to help them.
oh dear goodness.
I mean,
That's a hard one.
I get the feeling that that could apply to Evanora, it could apply to Nephili, it could apply to Xerus.
Xeras, Themis. It could apply to a lot of them, to be fair.
It could apply to Asin. It could apply to apparently Google wanted to get involved.
I am going to say... we'll go with Xeros.
So Xerus
Because
is
effectively
moving.
trying to... Could be going down the wrong route for the sake of trying to hold everything back. Almost maybe getting to the point of trying to control everything. Enforce peace. So that it has more meaning when he lets them. Something along those lines.
So Elipheth and Evanora were former lovers. Geoff, do you want to roll me another d12?
Sure. Yep. 12.
Ooh.
Positive, negative,
Big
or
money.
complicated?
Positive.
Roll again.
Really?
I think it's... Did I get the positive on the first one, or...
12 is... Blank is my deepest and truest love. There is no me without them. Which I feel is...
I mean,
We've
we've
already
answered
kind of
that.
adjusted.
We've already
though,
got
yeah.
that rule.
2. On the other end of the scale, 2.
Ah, okay. Blank is my child. And they bring me pride.
Ooh.
Who is the child of Elipheth, mother of growth?
Ooh. I'm thinking. I think something just dropped there.
Yeah. No. It's on stream now.
Hang
It's,
on, rewind.
I'm thinking Felkite.
Felkite.
Ooh.
So Felkite.
Ooh, I like that actually.
Felkite the Wanderer is my child, and they bring me pride. Pride, not price.
Certainly makes sense as to why they're so attached to the world as well. I don't think we finished off the Farley or made proper Nefali page?
We did. It's
Oh, we spelt it differently. That's
spelt it. We didn't tell Law how to spell it. Is apparently the problem. Five bashed. They're now rivals. Okay. Evanora is related to Nefali. She is sisters, and Elipheth and she were lovers. Felkite. You can both roll me d12s for this guy. He has no relationships yet, except
well,
obviously
with his mother.
Elipheth is his mum.
Got a mother.
Imagine the other side of things, whether he knows that is a different matter entirely.
Very true.
I got a 3.
Would you like positive, negative, or complicated?
I'm gonna go positive this time.
Blank taught me a lesson I shall never forget.
That's Bething. It's got to be Bething. When it comes down to learning a lesson in the case of...
And then Geoff. You appear to be muted.
I'm going the other way, negative.
What number?
7.
Negative for 7. I desire affection from, but they never offer it in a way that pleases me.
Are we not going to say his mother for that?
I mean...
And that does make a very complicated relationship.
It is a possibility.
To be fair, when it comes down to it, that's not a bad storyline there.
I think it has to be that. I think that's what it has to be, to be honest.
So Elitheth, I desire affection from Elitheth, mother of growth.
But we just created her Hercules story from Disney, haven't we?
We have.
One day a statue's going to talk to him and tell him what... Oh god, could that be the reason why he's done all those journeys? Believes that that's what his mother wants.
Ben, roll me a d12 for Nefali.
Okay. That is a 10.
Positive, negative, or complicated?
Let's face it, when it comes down to it, their life's already pretty complicated. Let's give them some good.
Blank commands much power and wisdom. It is right to pay them respect.
I want to throw down that maybe our Feltai has a bit more power than is recognized, apart from by the person who can see their dreams.
So who, sorry? Felkite.
So our Wanderer. Felkite, our Wanderer.
Felkite the Wanderer commands much power and wisdom.
Because it's one of those things where it seems to be such a goofy character, actually has a lot more going for him. I like that as an idea.
Novally the Undying Devotion, if you could both roll me d12s.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, Novally doesn't have a relationship just yet.
Maybe that's the reason why they're constantly trying to make sure other people do. Endlessly lonely and so desires. 7 from me.
I got a 1.
Geoff, positive, negative, or complicated?
Complicated. Why wouldn't it be?
We've had the one complication, which is blank is a useful tool, but I feel no loyalty towards them.
Okay, do you want me to reroll?
You can either re-roll or pick positive or negative.
I'll re-roll that for an 11. 11 complicated.
Oh boy.
Oh.
Hey.
For the goddess of love, this is complicated.
Oh.
I love blank. If I could,
Oh.
I would be with them.
Oh god, that makes this. I like this so much just for the sake that they have love, they want to give love, they just can't connect for that love. I
Unrequited
love, that as an
love
idea.
for the goddess of love.
God, I know who I would throw it at, but once again, I've got to see where you come in with, Joe. This is yours, so what are you going to do?
I'm starting to lose track of who they are.
I know, I've done that a while back.
Because I don't think we've said that name very much. Uana.
Uana. I love Uana, the Verdant Queen. If I could...
Firstly, I was going to say Deimos, just to say the literal, the one who cannot be removed from their position, or else end times.
I kind of like that because Uana is one of the people that we know is in a relationship.
Oh yeah. Oh no,
And so
I like that as an idea as well. It's another brilliant look.
That's
That's the reason why I end up saying I'm not going to start throwing out ideas. I want to hear what Geoff comes up with.
It's also though it's one of the people that she would like to be with that person, but she can't because there is somebody else already there, and she, being the goddess of love, knows that she can't get in the way of that.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing when it comes down to it. It's the same sort of story when it came down to Deimos, which is Deimos has a duty which is so important that he cannot focus on other things, and she cannot help him. It is another point where she wants to, she wishes she could, and the only thing which she can do is try and maybe stir and spark up people to actually remember Deimos so that they will still get the encouragement that he deserves. But once again, going with the Una, I love the Una.
So Ben, you rolled a 7?
That's right.
Positive, negative, or complicated?
So we've got that complicated. I'm going to go for a negative. I want this to be that she wants love for everyone else because she's got such a hard time themselves and are trying to live vicariously for others.
We've seen this one as well, but I also kind of like it for Novaly.
Oh yeah?
I desire affection from, but they do not reciprocate. So that could be Deimos.
I like that as an idea. When it comes down to the one who is in love wants love, and knows they can't get it from one, and almost wants to try a connection with the other one where they can't even attempt to talk to for the sake of a conversation. Is that unrequited, no reason behind love. The god of love is almost cursed with love, which is such a hard replica there. Who knows, maybe in the end they will be able to connect, or at least talk.
Hang on a minute. I fear that we're going to need to take away the soul binder from Novaly, as Uana was already the soul binder.
Oh.
Yay.
So, Uana is already the lover of Droth, and is followed around by Boris the Squirrel.
Yay.
A 6'4" squirrel who acts as a messenger of Uana, swole, an absolute unit, and doesn't think he looks any different to a normal squirrel, despite being 6'4" tall, and somehow has a strong Russian accent despite Russia not existing.
I just thought
Was this contributed by someone who isn't here tonight?
Yes.
To be fair, I love it though. I love that as a messenger who could randomly turn up at some point.
So Geoff, do you want to roll me a d12 for Uana's other relationship?
10.
Positive, negative. We've had complicated, so positive or negative. Actually, we've had
Negative.
Positive as well. Negative.
Negative. That narrows it. That makes the choice
There we
easy. Negative.
It narrows it really far down. I do not like the way treats me, but I believe I must endure it.
Ooh.
Overly.
Makes a lot of sense.
This is turning into like a
So it's one of those
comedy anime, isn't it? Yeah.
It's not just unrequited love, it's not wanted unrequited love.
I think it's more like the goddess of love doesn't know how to love.
And that could be the other side of things.
Yeah, as Tanny
This would be
says,
very
good old
interesting,
pantheon
actually.
drama.
I kind of like that idea that the god of love doesn't actually know how to love, just sparks the love in others. Tries to learn from what they do and maybe is misguided in their attempts.
Ismin, if you'd like to both roll me d12s.
Oh, no. I understand knowing the true meaning of love, but in order for the sake of sparking love and relationship-wise. No, she's born from love. It doesn't necessarily mean that she knows everything about it.
Also, yeah, she knows it. Doesn't mean she can do it.
And that's the thing. It's like the intelligence and wisdom side of things. You might know everything about love, but actual application is a different matter entirely. 3 for that one, by the way, John.
I got 6.
Geoff, 6. We've not had complicated yet.
Let's have complicated.
Blank wants to teach me, but I think they are a fool.
Ooh.
Our trickster character.
I like
Whose
it.
name escapes me for now.
Asin?
Asin.
Awesome.
Yes.
Ben. We've not had negative and we've not had complicated.
Was that last one complicated or was that a negative?
For the number that you rolled, we've not had. That was complicated.
Okay, in which case we'll prepare complicated for the sake of Yasmin. We'll go for it was either complicated or negative, was it?
Yep.
We'll go negative.
Blank imprisoned me.
Ooh. Oh, I like this part of the story now. This is why they are the past strider. This is why they are stuck with the crossroads. They are imprisoned to that job. Oh, I like that now. Oh, I like that now.
Tanny is suggesting Evanora.
Actually, yeah, Evanora effectively after slowly trying to be pulled into a different realm of force to stay there, effectively grabbing hold.
You're coming with me.
Effectively. Because they never went the full way, but is now sort of stuck between the two. Now tries to protect this void, this rift between the two, the bridge of the two realms. I like that.
Evanora, Keeper of the Garden, imprisoned me. Okay, so Xerus, the Iron Paragon. The idea of the starless skies is like pitch black, almost the transcendent plane of Destiny 2, to be honest. Yeah, I could see that. So, for Xerus, 2d12s. So, roll a d12 each, please.
Oh, 12.
6, I'm going to re-roll that. 10.
Good. 10. Nope, try again.
Okay.
Well, the 10 and 12.
8.
The-
8. Oh, do you want me to re-roll this? I've re-rolled for an 8, so...
Oh, we haven't had 8 yet. So would you like positive, negative, or complicated?
Negative.
Blank leads their followers astray and perverts the rightful order of creation.
Ooh.
Interesting.
In Xerus's viewpoint.
Elifeth.
Elifeth leads... Oh, God. Leads their followers astray and perverts the rightful of creation. Being...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we've had positive, negative, or complicated for 12.
Let's go positive for the God of War.
Oh boy. Blank is my deepest and truest love. There is no me without them.
Let's go full love triangle here. Let's do our goddess of love.
Ah. So, Novali likes Deimos and Uana. Doesn't like Xerus, but Xerus is absolutely smitten with Novali.
I just love this whole idea that, Novali is adamant that she wants to be with Uana. But at the same time realizes that it's not possible and looks for other ways and sees Deimos and believes that Deimos is the next best thing, but the only other option to have.
Yeah, as Tani says, sounds like your typical Ares and Aphrodite.
Yeah, pretty much.
I was really when we were doing the Novali ones, I was really wondering if one of you was gonna pick Xerus as like either the one that she couldn't be with or the desires affection from Xerus, but he can't show it.
Yeah.
Or doesn't show it the right way. But I do like the idea that he loves her, but she's like looking over there.
Yeah.
That works very well.
Always looking in the wrong places.
Ain't that just love?
It's complicated.
So
Even that they can find you in a stream and all that, a lot of them would just connect.
Oh, I can't imagine who that would happen to.
No, I didn't.
So, I feel that's a good place to wrap up the stream. We've got a much bigger pantheon. Probably not complete.
I think there's still bits which we can do on this. I got caught. Damn it.
Oh, I don't know. Did you get caught, or are they upset because we're just wrapping up when they get back?
Oh no! Oh,
did you sell yourself out? Oh no, you sold yourself.
Which is nothing happened. It's fine.
Nothing happened. It's fine. Everything's
definitely
fine.
nothing to be worried about. That's
apparently Tanny also missed that convo. Nobody was watching. Nobody saw it. It's fine. Nothing happened.
Why am I now expecting someone to clip this and just see us so they can see?
Tanny says that's all right. I'll rewatch it. Anyway. We are going to wrap up here. We're going to be back in a month's time around the 27th of October, which is going to be the last council session on a Friday, as we are moving the council sessions to a second Saturday of the month stream from November. So pay attention to the change in schedule coming soon to FBF.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We are thinking of.
No, you don't. No, you don't, Tanny. No,
Tanny
you didn't.
went back.
No, you didn't.
Tanny went back.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't see anything. It's not there. Time doesn't exist before this point. It's not possible. You got it. No, you didn't get it. It's not possible. No.
Tanny is now judging you, apparently.
Why? Why are you judging? It's a good one. No.
Law says, well, either I'm going to go back or go to bed. Tanny is questioning if they are Tarzan now. Anyway, we're getting off track with just reading the chat now.
That's pretty much how we do every stream.
Yeah. That's why I don't read the chat when we do D&D, otherwise we'd get nothing done.
I know, but we keep trying.
We thank you in the chat for joining us very much. We thank you for all of your contributions, be they names or ideas for characters, vague concepts, or just endless lists of names that you've thrown at my some of which we will use in future streams, probably. I'm going to talk slowly while Tanny writes a thing, apparently. We have a YouTube channel that you can go to catch all of our previous videos and see even bits of this video that you might have missed. If, for instance, you want to see things that happened when you were out of the room putting your children to sleep, or getting toast.
No, we can't do that. There's no
toast with chocolate spread. You can head over to our YouTube channel and see that over there. You can ring the little bell at the YouTube channel to get notifications when new videos go live over there. We also have a Discord you can join to chat with us about the games we are playing, about this world that we are making, about D&D and other things in general. We are apparently Laura is going to go to their happy place, which is apparently in bed with Tanny now, because Tanny has offered it.
What about me? No.
You didn't
Actually,
offer
don't worry about putting that into the chat. That's probably not what we want to know.
Where was I in the thing? We have a website, www.finalbossfight.co.uk, where you can find all of the written things we do. The FBF podcast network is on our website. The character profiles are up on the website, which reminds me, Geoff, I need you to write me up something about your new character for Tyranny of the Dragons.
Okay.
I've been meaning to ask you for a little while, and I keep forgetting with other things we've been doing this month. And various computer screens that I've had disappearing. So head over to the website for all that good stuff. You can also find links from our website to the YouTube and to the Discord. I think that about wraps up those bits of what I talk about, and it is time for me to press this button to go over to the end credits screen, where you can see the several of our credits. On Sunday, we will be back with Rhymer the Frost Maiden as the group continue to make their way through the tundra, escaping the spire of the lost spire of Netheril. They have a Shield Guardian amulet in hand that seems to be leading them towards a potential new ally. On Monday, Angel is back yelling at monsters in Genshin. Ben is back with Raft.
Potentially. We'll see if we can get it working.
Possibly.
Raft is a plan.
And I will be back with Marvel Midnight Suns. On Tuesday night, I don't know. Tune in to find out. On Wednesday, Angel is failing at Star Rail, and then later on Wednesday, we are going to be doing FBF Craft V3, as hopefully we're going to be getting our heads around how trains work. Trains, train stations, and train automations, hopefully. And then on Thursday, Angel is hopefully playing Yakuza 0. And then I think next Friday is one of the Fridays that you're not doing a Call of Cthulhu at the moment, Geoff?
Yeah, that's
So
the
it'll be
next
the
Friday.
first
I won't be,
Friday.
Yeah. September's being weird this year. September's just very weird this year. It's like never-ending Fridays in September.
However, I will say this is going to be the first preview of coming soon to a final boss fight stream near you. Starting in November. November the 3rd, the first and third Fridays of the month, we are going to have a new D&D stream on the FBF channel. It is going to be the return of the Golden Tooth. So if you have been wondering what the Golden Tooth got up to after they dealt with the demonic threat of Graz'zt, and whether How ever got shoes with shoelaces, tune in to find out the continuing adventures of the Golden Tooth with Golden Tooth, the Shattered Obelisk. Starting November. TM. Coming soon. But that's all we've got for this time. We are now going to do a raid, if I could find where the raid window had gone. And we are going to do a raid over to, let's say, 1speed94 for who is playing games and indeed demos. Go give 1speed some love. We'll see you guys again real soon. For now, so long. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
We have done the raid.